am here with Vice President of ERB Entertainment, Wolf Larson, and Vice President of Publishing at Edgar Rice Burroughs Incorporated, Christopher Paul Carey. And Chris, we've been friends for a long time, so thank you for coming on video, and thank you for setting this up so we could talk with Wolf. And why we're talking is because there was an announcement last week that Victory Harben is in development as an animated series with Flying S Films. So thanks for letting me talk about it. And as Wolf, I'm going to start with you. As we were just chatting off camera, that you were joined a little over a year ago officially in this role as vice president. And you certainly spent some time as Tarzan on television. So, how did you find yourself back at Edgar Rice Burroughs?
Well, I don't know if it was just one specific thing. I was kind of, like I said, I was kind of involved with them for a few years prior to coming on board officially. I'd heard that the Tarzan rights had become available again after Warner Brothers let them go. And I simply called to find out what was going on with Tarzan, and they said, we're open to ideas if you have any on where we can maybe take it next go around. That I had some contacts over at Sony. We went to Sony. Sony optioned the project, and because of the both strikes, that option kind of extended a little longer, and then they didn't end up doing it. Was a few reasons why, but had nothing to do with Tarzan. And now Tarzan is back on the table, although there's something in progress, which I can't really talk too much about.
Fair enough.
And that was how I kind of reintroduced myself to the ERB folks over there. And out of that came some discussion on what's going on with the other properties. So I still have quite a few contacts in the entertainment business. So I'm out there, checking to see who might be interested in some of this evergreen IP, which in my opinion is probably the last privately owned IP library, biggest IP library in existence. I don't know too many other places that can compete with the stuff that ERB has. Obviously, Marvel's, with Disney, DC, and all those that taken off, but we're sitting there with the treasure trove of IP, and we're just trying to go out there and really put some kind of effort behind now pushing it in the entertainment business. Christopher's been doing a phenomenal job in the publishing end of it, but there really hasn't been that much. It's mostly ERB's been waiting for the phone to ring, as opposed to now our strategy is now we're calling people to see folks still out their interest. And so,
and someone was, so that leads to my next question, which is, that Flying S is developing this animated series, and that can mean a lot of things at this stage. But so you went to them, and why were they the company that you went, yes, this is the one we're going to move forward with Victory Harben?
Actually, we didn't go to them, and I'll talk a little bit, and then Christopher can throw some details on it. They contacted us, and they contacted us just to see about some of our other iconic IP, and those are more or less in play. Again, I can't get into too much detail on what's where, but we reached out to them and said, are you possibly interested in some other stuff? And then Christopher gave them some options. And they latched on to Victory Harben, which I think was a smart move. And the strategy is that Victory Harben is more or less the conduit where we can introduce, or not even introduce, but have her interact with some of the other ERB iconic characters: Tarzan, John Carter, Jane, Porter, Carson the Venus, so on and so forth, in her adventures, and introduce this thing that we're trying to promote now is the ERB worlds, and have her go in her adventures and visit all these different places, which I think is super exciting. And I think it's if Christopher, correct me if I'm wrong, this would be more or less the first effort to do something like that on a with our ERP IP. Am I correct?
Exactly. Absolutely.
This is Christopher's brain. This is Christopher's. I give credit to Christopher for coming up with this a few years ago.
Hmm.
Well, yeah, as you know, Derek, and first of all, thanks for having us on the show. That's great. Really great to be able to talk to people about this. Um, uh, yeah, so back in 2019, I came on board as then director of publishing and launched the Edgar Rice Burroughs Universe series, which really debuted in 2020 because it took me time to ramp it up.
Hmm.
And we put out novels and comic books set in the same continuity, consistent continuity, building on Edgar Rice Burroughs' classic canon, consistent with the canon. And yet we created a lot of new material, and we call it expanded canon.
Hmm.
And Victory Harben was kind of leading the way in that, and her whole point was to be able to have somebody that could take new readers along who might not know who these iconic characters are, the younger readers, and expose them to all the great, wonderful, fantastical science fiction, fantasy setting that Edgar Rice Burroughs created, like back before anyone was doing anything so expansive. Of interconnecting his own, creating his own universe essentially. So yeah, and that was my one of my goals all along was to create a portfolio of all of our IP so that we can get it out there and people would be able to see it and that it could help bring in licenses and perhaps entertainment uh, deals and things like that.
Yeah.
So
And bring in the younger viewers.
and bring in the younger
Oh,
viewers.
absolutely.
Yeah.
We've talked about
Um,
this, Chris, just you and I both at conventions and so forth is, at the risk of stepping on Doctor Who, the brilliance of Victory Harben as a concept is you can venture anywhere in time and space,
mhm.
and you can deal with Tarzan in 1910, but it's still for Victory Harben absolutely fresh. It's 2024,
Yeah.
although I guess the book Fires of Halo starts in 1950.
Mhm.
So how much input are you having with Flying S?
It's really been a joy to work with them. They're really taking seriously everything, all the feedback that I give them, that our whole team gives them. Wolf has given them a lot of great feedback because he has a lot of experience reading scripts and things like that. We had several run-up meetings before they started working and establishing their ideas as they're trying to figure out what direction to go with. And I presented how I would do it. Essentially, if we were trying, like if I this is basically my chance to do it again, right? And if there were any things that I did for various reasons that made the character not as accessible because she was so canon heavy. She came in the fourth book in the super arc, the Swords of Eternity super arc. And so that wasn't the original intention. The original intention was to have her be able to guide the readers through this. And we had bonus stories with her in it in the earlier books in the super arc,
Hmm.
but she only came in by the fourth book, and so she got a lot more canon heavy than I had anticipated. And so when when we were discussing the direction to go, I presented my way of how to make it more accessible so that somebody coming in who didn't know anything about any of this, all these wonderful storylines that Edgar Rice Burroughs created, they could come in and experience the universe, the Edgar Rice Burroughs universe, along with Victory, and find out about things. And it wasn't just me saying this; they wanted to do this from the get-go. We were of like mind about it. They came and said that as well. They came back with this. We had some other meetings, and then finally they sent us the first draft of the script. And much to my surprise and delight, it was very close to how I would have done it. They've had some tweaks, which I think were improvements, because this is their specialty, right? Like I'm a literary guy, and these
Hmm.
guys and gal are all you know more experienced in creating the visual arts and things like that. So, but yeah, I was kind of blown away when I read it I came in on a Friday night, and I stayed up late reading it on a Friday night, and I was just overjoyed to see the direction they were going to go in, because they do make it very accessible, and yet it feels very authentic. Like there's so much DNA from the original, like from both my novel and storylines and the character Victory Harben, and from Edgar Rice Burroughs. There's just so much of that DNA in their approach, that it's just very satisfying, because I think we can all agree that there have been so many versions of Edgar Rice Burroughs produced, his works produced in the media, that have kind of gone off in their own direction, let's say. And whether you're talking about Johnny Weissmuller's version of Tarzan versus Edgar Rice Burroughs' very more sophisticated ape man who knew how to speak multiple languages and things like that. This is really an authentic approach.
Yeah, and again, as you can touch on many of the different worlds wrapped up in this animated series, did you consider live action, or is it really, Wolf? I think this may be more your purview, since it was an animation studio that approached.
It was an animation studio that approached us, and not to get into kind of the inside baseball and what's. Oh, my cat is coming alive here.
We have a guest appearance. That's excellent.
That's it. It's Loki. I think one of the easiest paths right now is to get an animated series done first. It's faster, and if the animation series takes off, it's an easier way to get the live action. I mean, I hope that's where we're headed. A successful animation series, and then a live action series to follow. That would be terrific if that would happen. And off of that, maybe some spin-offs, characters, and things like that. I mean, that's how all it grows. Nothing happens overnight. Again, I don't know about anything about the book publishing business, but I think that's an easier kind of timeline to gauge in the entertainment business. I think the last Tarzan movie was in development for 17 years, Christopher, something like that.
I think it was 14 years. Yeah.
14 years?
Yeah.
2003 until it actually came out, 2017. That gives you an idea. There's just so many twists and turns. People love the idea, then they're let go, and a new group of people come in. And
right.
I mean, I could give you all the different horror stories about how the entertainment business works. But and Christopher's right. These Flying S guys have been and gals have been. Their team has been terrific. I think he's being spoiled on how this business works, because they have been just spot on. That first draft, I mean, I was blown away. I thought it was absolutely spot on. It's easy to give suggestions to something that's already really good, because you're just going, oh my God, this could even be, just tweak it this way and this way. I mean, we were doing minor tweaks because it was shoot ready as far as I was concerned right off the bat. And we both gave notes. I don't know, I haven't seen the final draft on it, but if that's the quality of work that they're going to do down the road here with these successive episodes, I think it's going to be great. I mean, I really do. And the artwork, they gave us some samples of the artwork. They're moving pretty quick. And my opinion, and I'll leave Christopher with his opinion, I thought the artwork was great. We had one little difference of opinion on Hucklebuck. But
I was going to ask. I mean, Hucklebuck makes it, because that's the plush toy. I know that.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yep.
I want that now.
Yeah.
So if we take the Greystokes off the table, Wolf, which one of the worlds of Edgar Rice Burroughs would you want to see get into live action? Because I know Tarzan. It's just not fair to ask you about that.
We're working on John Carter right now. We're putting a pitch together for John Carter. Again, we're going animated first, but only by a matter of a few weeks. I mean, we're going to go out with an animated pitch and with a live action pitch within 30 days after that. So we're hoping to have some traction on that. I'm hoping optimistically by the fall, and then how quickly it moves after that, I can't really say. But that's the next one to go. They're are people working on Carson and Venus. There are people working on Pellucidar and At the World's Core. And what else have we?
Land That Time Forgot.
And Land That Time Forgot. Right. So those are, I don't have control over those. I have a little bit of input, but I'm not steering the ship on those. I am on John Carter with a really good writer that's on board, Michael Koji. And that's where we're at. And we're hoping some of these, on Tarzan, I am talking to a pretty well-known director, writer, and comes on board. I think that would be terrific. And that would be for film.
Excellent. That's good. So it's an exciting time to be an Edgar Rice Burroughs fan. So thank you both for joining me this afternoon. And I wish the best of luck and can't wait to hear next and see those character designs when that press release comes out. So thank you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks for having us on.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and make sure that you don't miss out on any Fanboy Planet content. Really appreciate your time. And remember, use your powers for good.